So now that we've been over what Python is and what it can do, let's get started with setting you up with everything you need to get Python working. So first of all, visit www.python.org so you can download Python onto your computer. Now if for any reason you don't want to download Python, or you're finding difficulties getting any parts of this working and you just want something simple, then you can always just go to this. So if you type in colab.research.google.com, you can pretty much do the same thing that we'll be doing, but online, so you don't have to download anything. You just click on New Python 3 Notebook, and this is all online, all through your browser. You don't need to download anything, and you can just do Python in your browser. So that's just if you don't want to have Python running, or you don't want to get it set up just yet locally on your computer. For everyone else, simply where it says download the latest version, if you're on Windows, it will suggest Windows. If you're on a Mac, it will suggest Mac. Then you literally just download this. Now once that's downloaded, you'll have an exe file which you run. Okay, so I've already got Python set up on my computer, so it's offering to upgrade now. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. For everyone else, it will pretty much just say, do you want a basic installation or something like that. So the Python installation may take a bit of time, so I'm just going to pause the recording here, and I'll pick it up once the installation has come to the end. So now that the installation is complete, what we can do is we can just make sure that Python is running properly. So if you're on a Mac, you can go to Launchpad and just type in terminal, terminal, and open that. If you're on PC, then just type into your search command, cmd, you should get the command prompt. So when that opens up, you'll see something like this. And all you need to do is type in either Python or Python 3. Try Python first. And this has literally just opened Python. So it's saying Python 3.7.4, that's the version number. And then let's just try something basic like 1 + 9 and enter. Perfect. So this means that Python is now running correctly. So we can just leave this by typing in quit and then open brackets. Fantastic. So now we know that Python is working, and we can work just using it here, or we can use a text editor like Atom to run all of our code, which is perfectly possible. Like I say, we can use this Google Colab as well, which we can, for example, 1 + 9. This is running Python in the background as well. There's one thing that I like to do called Jupyter Notebook. And Jupyter Notebook is something that it launches in your browser, but you're running it locally. So essentially, let's just try and get that set up. So we're now out of Python, and we want to install something called Jupyter Notebook. So all we have to do, there's something that comes with Python, and it's called pip. So I just typed in pip, and what we can do, pip is like an installation package manager. So if you want to install any other libraries that Python uses, then you can just do pip install like this. I want to install Jupyter Notebook, so I'm just going to type in pip install Jupyter. So I advise you to do the same. So my installation was quite quick. That's because I already have Jupyter Notebooks installed. So just to catch up on what we've done so far, we've installed Python, going to python.org, and then we're able to open either our command prompt if we're on PC, or able to open the terminal if we're on Mac. And we typed in, from here, we typed in Python. And sometimes if that doesn't work, try Python 3, no spaces. And that's showing that we can actually open Python. And then we quit the program by writing quit, and then empty brackets. So that's how we're able to see that Python's working. We then typed in pip, which is basically something that's built into Python that allows us to install other libraries of Python that don't come as a default, let's say. So then we did pip install, and then the thing we wanted to install was called Jupyter Notebooks. So we just type in Jupyter, and then I put in enter, and it basically said that it was already installed. For you, it might take a lot longer because it needs to download some packages and then install them. So now if that's working, all we have to do is type in Jupyter Notebook. You'll wait for a few seconds. And once it starts up, it's basically going to just open up a new tab in my browser from which I can then show you how Jupyter Notebook works. So that's now appeared. I'm not touching anything on my screen. Now I can just go to New here in the top right. We'll go over that in the next lecture as well. And select Python 3, and now we can run Python in our browser in this cool little thing, which essentially allows you just to run your code very quickly. If we were to use a text editor, then we'd have to save our files, then run them through the command line or something similar like that. Jupyter Notebook at this point where you're learning Python just makes it super easy. You can do it without it, that's fine, but this is how I recommend you do it. If for any reason you don't want to use pip, there is something else that you can use called Anaconda. I don't use this myself, but it is very popular, so I thought I'd just mention it here. Essentially, Anaconda, you can think of it as containing a lot of different Python libraries that are really useful in data science. So in the course, we're mainly going to be using pip to install that stuff, but you can always use Anaconda, which makes things easier, at least at the start. So if you feel like using this, you can just download it and go ahead with the installation process. It's relatively simple, and then you'll be able to run Jupyter Notebooks straight away. So as I said before, if you don't want to install Python locally, or you're having problems with both Anaconda and pip, you can still just use this online, which is colab.research.google.com. Open a new notebook, and you'll be able to run your Python code the same as we're going to be doing in Jupyter Notebook. So there are lots of different options. I recommend going for downloading Python and using pip to install Jupyter Notebooks, and then just opening Jupyter Notebooks locally. If you really don't want hassle, then literally all you need to do is add that in. You may need to create a Google account, but that shouldn't take too long. So have a go at setting up yourself, and then we can get stuck in the next lecture.